Once the airbox and the mass airflow sensor has been removed, it's time to take out the turbo inlet. In order to remove the turbo inlet, you must first disconnect the two vacuum lines on each side of the PTC, then remove the non-reusable clamp on the hose leading to the PTC. IPD does supply a new hose clamp. Then remove the harness connector at the PTC. And then last, remove the hose clamp connecting to the turbocharger compressor cover. While removing and loosening these components, please be patient. Some of these are hard to access, but you can do it if you're patient and take your time. Once everything has been loosened and disconnected from the turbo inlet, reach down to the compressor cover, and it might take some tugging to get it popped off from the turbocharger. Once you separate it from the turbo, simply rotate and pull through to remove it from the engine compartment. Now that the factory turbo inlet has been removed from the car, it's time to transfer the PTC to the new turbo inlet. The PTC is surrounded with a rubber grommet. Grip the PTC firmly and separate the grommet from the factory turbo inlet. This can sometimes be difficult to remove as the rubber grommet hardens over time. The PTC on the right still retains the rubber grommet. The grommet and the retaining lip will need to be removed, eventually looking like the PTC on the left. The PTC on the left is ready to be installed on the turbo inlet. Using a sharp knife, cut the grommet. Once you've made a deep incision into the grommet, use pliers to remove the grommet away from the PTC. Use a stone wheel to grind the plastic tab down on the PTC so it fits into the new turbo inlet. If you do not have a stone wheel, use a sharp knife or a file to grind it. Now that we're done grinding the plastic tab, you can see that both PTCs are identical. Install your modified PTC, orientate it in the same position as shown here, and then tighten the hose clamp below the PTC. Now it's time to reinstall the turbo inlet. Note that the IPD inlet is larger in diameter. It can be a little bit of a daunting task getting the inlet to line up onto the compressor cover. Make sure you've pre-installed the hose clamp that attaches the turbo inlet to the compressor cover. This will make it much easier once you get the inlet seated on the turbocharger to clamp it down. Once the turbo inlet is in place, make sure and connect both vacuum lines. Install the PTC hose with the supplied clamp from IPD. Connect the PTC electrical plug. And then make sure and tighten down the compressor housing clamp. The IPD turbo inlet incorporates a piece of silicone for external diverter or compressor bypass. If you know you're never going to install an external bypass, you can shorten this pipe and plug it off before the installation. Now that the turbo inlet has been properly installed, reinstall the mass airflow sensor and your airbox. Go for a drive and then recheck all your connections.